Hi everyone, I'm going to do a short tutorial here on tablature. We're going to use a C major scale to do this. Now that we're playing more songs with riffs and lines in them, I really want to open this up to a lot of people so that you can get used to reading tablature, not be afraid of it. If you read music, that's very helpful. However, the tablature, even though it goes along with music, it's a little different. So that brings up the question, what is tablature? And maybe the second question would be, why do we even use it? Well, I looked up the definition of tablature. It was very nice, and it said, form of notating fingering instead of pitch. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's telling you where to put your fingers, and the pitch doesn't really matter at that point, because if you put your finger in the right place, you're going to play the right note. So the note is irrelevant if you're in the right place with the right fingering. Okay? Now the second question, why do we use it? Well, one of the reasons we use it is on a lot of instruments. Let's take a piano as an example. If you see a middle C, there's only one key on that piano. Out of all 88 keys, there's only one key that will play that note. So anytime you see that, that is the key that has to be played. However, on stringed instruments, because of the way they're laid out, that's not always the case. Let's take the ukulele as an example. So for instance, let's say I saw a G that was marked above middle C, okay? If you have a reentrant tuned ukulele, that actually could be your fourth string open. Now I have a low G, but if I... So there's that G. But I can also play that G here, second string, third fret. Those are the same notes. And it so happens on the third string, seventh fret, three different places to play that exact same note. Tablature says this is where you want to play that note, and that's going to either be for a run you're coming out of, or it's going to be for something you're getting ready to go into. They're concerned and they want to let you make sure that you're in the right position for your hand, because just by putting the note up, you'd have to figure all that out, and they take all that guesswork. So that is why three places to play the exact same note. Where do you play it? Tablature tells you. Okay? Now the best forms of tablature, you can write out tab, are going to have something above them. Music, the one that I use, actually has music, so you'll actually see the notes that are written above. The rhythm and everything is within that to know what to do with those numbers, okay? Some of the tablature I've seen, and if you wanted to write it yourself and you're not real good with music, you can actually just use kind of like a single line, and you can actually just draw like a note, a fake note, and you can actually draw out the rhythm. So you can make like a quarter note, a dotted quarter note, the half note, but you don't actually have to move it in pitch. You can just draw it across one line, but you can draw the rhythm out in that way. So if you don't want to write the music out itself, you can at least write the rhythm. So like I said, it's always nice when you have one of those along with the tab, because unless you know the line, there's no way of discerning how the rhythm is played, okay? So let's take a look at this and see. Now I think where the confusion comes, and I'm almost positive this is where it is. When we talk about ukulele, we talk about our first string as being down here. And I know through my James Hill course, it's how do you build a building? Well, you start on the first floor. So this is the first floor. This is the second floor, or second string. This is the third floor, or third string, and this is the fourth floor, or fourth string. So it's just like a building, top to bottom. And that makes total sense, and we have that, and we think about that all the time, and everything is fine. Then we come to tablature. Tablature decided that it would look funny if the tablature didn't follow the notes. And so as the pitch goes up in the melody or the line or whatever you're playing, the notes go higher if you look at music. Well, they wanted the tab to go higher as well, so it tracks along with the music. It would look funny if it was, as the note got higher, the tab went down. So they thought visually, we're just going to do it this way. Now what that does is that it completely reverses the string order on the ukulele. So this first string, which we consider the first floor, now becomes the first line on the top of the staff. The second string, which we consider from the bottom up, is now the second line down from the top. Third string is third down, and the fourth string, which we consider up here closest to our chin, is down on the very bottom. And I think that's where the confusion comes. So you might want to go on your tab and just start at the top line of the 4 lines and write 1, then go down the next one, 2, 3, 4. And that correlates with your strings. 1 is the top, although it's down here. The next line down is 2. This is 2. Next line down is 3, 3, and the very bottom line is 4, like that, okay? So I think that's where most of the confusion comes, is that it's in reverse because it wants to follow the music visually, and we're used to having it reversed out on our ukuleles. So let's take a look at this now and see what we've got. So the very first thing, remember, if we count from the top of the staff in the tab section, 1, 2, our first note is going to be on that third line. Well, that's still the third string, so we count up 1, 2, 3. That happens to be our C string, and our first note is open. 0 means no frets or an open note. So there you go, there's the 0. Now the next note in line happens to be on that same string, it's the third string, second fret. So that second fret on the third string. Just so happens that I've got down below, I can actually put in the fingering for you to tell you which finger to use. I happen to use the second finger on this. So our very first notes are open third string, second fret, third string. Okay, now the next note goes up. You'll notice if you count down 1, 2, it's on the second string, which is our second string, okay, which is here. So it's open second. Now we use first fret, happens to be the index finger, first finger. Now we go to the third. Remember, that's that G that we talked about that's in 3 different places. Well, we're only going to play it right here. It's telling me exactly which G to use. Now the next one goes to the first string on the very top of the tab, which is down here for us, open, second fret, second finger, third fret. Okay, with the third finger. So I think that's where the confusion, if you go to your music and on the section it says tab in it, start at the top and mark it 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to correlate to your 1, 2, 3, 4 strings on your ukulele. Okay, so let's try playing this. This is our C scale. I'm going to play it very slow, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have open third, 2, open second, open first, and we're going to back down, open first, third there, first on the second string, open, third string 2, and open, okay? So that's how tab is. And again, I'm almost positive if when you're doing tab, if you just remember that tab follows the music in pitch. So the top line is the highest pitch. That's your first string, second, third, and fourth. And usually in tab, if they have a low G or they're using a low G, they will notate that. Otherwise, it's in standard position, and that fourth string on the bottom is actually your high G up here. So you don't have to worry about that. They would tell you if they were using low G tuning. So I hope that helps. Take a look at this, and we'll spend some time at next rehearsal going over it.